Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's a pleasure to take a call on the third reading of the Electronic Transactions Contract Formation Amendment Bill. Mr Speaker, I just want to open with an observation. We were lucky enough to listen to the Honourable Chris Tremaine speak for 10 minutes, and he was uninterrupted. The opposition benches were quiet. They had nothing to say. And then I listened to my colleague Kanwal Singh Bakshi and my colleague Jian Young get up and make two very good contributions of 10 minutes each. And the whole time they were making their contributions, they were being laughed at, they were being abused, they were being interjected by Ruth Dyson, they were being abused by Trevor Mallard. And so what I'd ask people and viewers to do at home, is to take their own observations from that, is that the Honourable Chris Tremaine got up for 10 minutes and made a speech uninterrupted. My colleagues then, Kanwal and Jian, got up to make their speeches, two thoughtful contributions, and they were abused the entire time and heckled by the opposition benches. So people can make up their own minds at home about that one, but I felt that it was a disgrace and you should all be ashamed of yourself. Mr Speaker, I don't know if it's because they're ethnic. People can make up their own mind about that. I'm not going to accuse anyone of anything, but to me it was a disgrace and it was a smear on this House. Mr Speaker, well, if you want to talk about how important the digital age is, I mean, we have to ask ourselves, Mr Speaker, you know, what was Claire Curran doing up at the Kim.com mention? What was Claire Curran doing up at the Kim.com mention? Having the Digital Bill of Rights legislation delivered to her by Kim.com. Who was sitting in the getaway car at the back? Probably Mr Mallard. Mr Mallard was probably sitting out there in the getaway car, ready for Claire to sneak away in the dead of the night with the new Digital Bill of Rights bill that Kim.com had given. Got anything to say now, Mr Mallard? Got any comments to make on that? Yeah, it had to be a getaway car because a bike you'd fall off. There's no doubt about that. There'd be no doubt about that. But look, this is a very good bill. This is a very good bill, and I want to commend my colleague Paul Goldsmith for bringing this bill to the House. It's an excellent bill. We do live in an age of the internet and technology, and oh well, if we want, let's talk about your you want to talk about polls. Let's talk about your perspective. Let's talk about your prospective coalition partner, the Greens. Let's talk about what Mr Norman's been doing, Mr Mallard. Your Deputy Prime Minister. Sorry,
but the members should be careful not to include the Speaker by the use of the inappropriate pronoun. Mark Mitchell.
You're right. I'm sorry. I apologise, Mr Speaker. So, Mr Mallard, let's speak about your future. Who you propose to be your Deputy Prime Minister? You know, the only person, Mr Mallard. Yeah, we're used to your abuse, Mr Mallard. We've just seen Mr Jian Young and Kanwal Bakshi be subjected to your abuse over the last half an hour. But let's talk about your prospective coalition partner and what he's been up to. He's been up there at the Kim.com mention too. He was probably high-fiving Claire Curran on the way through and being tasked out by Mr .com to stop his extradition. You know, and this is a government in waiting. This is meant to be a government waiting up there talking to someone that is currently under a DOJ indictment for theft of intellectual property, and we're talking about, you know, it's to me, Mr Speaker, it is an absolute travesty. Let's talk about Shane Jones. You know, I've been very fortunate and lucky to get to know Shane Jones in my time here in Parliament. I'm involved in the PRT. It's actually an honour to be the co-captain along with Damien O'Connor. And I've got to know Shane Jones very well. And I'll tell you right now, he is a man of integrity and he's a man that is focused on economic growth for New Zealand. And the reason why, I'll tell you now the reason why he's not sitting over there with you guys and he's not going to stay with you is because he sees no future. He sees no future in terms of economic growth, and that's what he's about. He's got aspiration for the people of Northland. Yes, he has. He's got aspiration for the people of Northland, but he understands clearly that, especially with your coalition partner, the Green Party, there's no aspiration for economic growth, and it's as simple as that. So, Mr Speaker, I will get back to the Electronic Transactions Contract Formation Amendment Bill, because it is a good bill, and it does actually fold neatly into what the government is trying to achieve, and that is economic growth. That is a future for our generations. We're a small country. We're a country of 4.5 million people. We will not get ahead trading amongst ourselves. We have to make sure that we position ourselves globally to continue to be a real global player, to continue to grow our exports, and to do that there has to be attention to detail, and we have to be seen to have the best global regulation and systems in the world. And to do that, we actually have to have bills like this, to make the changes, to make the tweaks that are necessary to allow us to keep growing and moving in that direction. So, Mr Speaker, it is with great pride that I stand and that I take a call to support this very good bill of Mr Goldsmith, this Electronic Transactions Contract Formation Amendment Bill. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
The debate has now concluded, so I will put the question. And the order. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Electronic Transactions Contract Formation Amendment Bill, third reading.
Call on members' order of the day number 2.
Interrupted debate on the second reading of the Resource Management Restricted Duration of Certain Discharge and Coastal Permits Amendment Bill.
Members, the second reading